Welcome to Parlay TV.
Plenty of things look easy at first. Skydiving, lion taming. From the comfort of your armchair, all sorts of risks look easy as
Cristiano Ronaldo, Diogo Jota, and Bruno Fernandes literally
blew Russia off the park in a clinical display of attacking football.
Wow.
Sorry, what did you say, Kobe?
Wow, bro.
Let's break it down.
I am Pat Mayo, and I'm here to give you the best pick at the top of the board, the best bet, if you will.
So I'm going to go with just under 25 for Middleton here.
Welcome, everybody, to Spreadzies Week 7 edition here on the Parlay. I'm your host, Luca, alongside my co-host, Jelani, and we are super excited to break down the NFL action for this week and give you our picks against the spread. Jelani and I have been going head-to-head from Week 1, and we will see who the winner is at the end of the season. Just to quickly recap our records from a week ago, I personally went 7-7 to now bring my overall record to 32-29. Jelani, where do you stand right now?
Yeah, I had the same thing, 7-7. So I'm at 33 correct games right now. So one over you, but it's going to be very close down the stretch.
Wow. Yeah, this is going to go down to the wire. I have a feeling. I mean, yeah, we keep getting the similar records every single week. The action is heating up, and we'll see what happens the rest of the way. So we're going to dive into the games. We got another incredible slate of games here for Week 7. Last week saw no upsets. This week sees a lot of big spreads. So we'll see if upsets do in fact happen. But before we get into some of those bigger spreads, we're going to start, Jelani, with the Thursday nighter. We got two teams coming off losses. The Denver Broncos taking on the Cleveland Browns. And the Browns open up as 3.5-point favorites. Who do you like in this spot?
Yeah, so here I'm going to go with the Browns. I do know that they're coming off of a tough loss against Arizona, and honestly, they're banged up now. We see Baker, re-aggravating that shoulder. We see Nick Chubb hurt, and then Kareem Hunt had a pretty bad injury. He's going to miss, an extended amount of time. So when you're looking at this game, you're saying to yourself, okay, it's in Denver. Denver, they've had some wins on the year, not a bad record, but who have they beat? That's the one thing I'm asking myself. Who have they beat? They haven't really beaten anybody. And the better competition that we've seen them play against, they haven't really showed up. So I'm taking, the Browns here. But Baker, there's a lot of pressure on Baker right now. A lot of people are uncertain and unsure about how he stacks up with the other AFC quarterbacks right now. So you know what? They need a win because you're looking at the Ravens. They're really running away with the division the way they're playing. And, Cincinnati's over them right now, and Pittsburgh at 3-3, just right with them. So the Browns will have to get this one done. Definitely have to get it. And they're coming off of a tough loss, like I said, short week. So we'll see how it goes. But I do believe that Baker steps up here because he has to.
Yeah, well said. I agree with you. I'm going to lay the points with the Browns. Both these teams in a little bit of a rut, but I'm going to have more faith in the Browns, who have beaten some solid teams, whereas the Broncos, they're proving me right, Jelani. I mean, this is a team that started off strong, but they didn't play any stiff competition. And then once their schedule started to get a little bit tough, we're seeing all these losses pile up. Teddy Bridgewater obviously had that concussion. He came back in that game against Pittsburgh and then last week, but he hasn't looked the same. And right now, I don't think this Broncos offense can keep up with Baker Mayfield banged up at that and that offense. I still think even though Baker's not going to be 100%, he's still going to be able to put up points on the board. And I just thought that Browns game against the Arizona Cardinals was a bad matchup for Cleveland. You got to put a lot more stock into the Cardinals just being that good than, into Cleveland being bad, because I do think this Browns team is a solid team. And I think they will be with the Ravens and the Bengals. And now we see the Steelers winning a couple of games. It's going to be a fantastic division till the very end. But I do think the Browns are going to be in the thick of things till the end of the season. So this is a game they have to win. They're at home. And yeah, this can be a very big game for both of these two teams, as the loser is going to see their playoff hopes take a big, hit. I know it's still early, but with how good the AFC is stacking up to be, all these games matter from here on out. So I think the Browns do get it done. I want to see, Odell Beckham Jr. get it going a little bit more. But other than that, the Browns have too many weapons, and I think they will win this game comfortably at home.
All right. And now we got the Carolina Panthers. They're at New York to play the Giants. They are favored by 3. So, Luca, do you agree with the 3 here?
I do. I just think the Giants are in a bigger mess right now. They got so many injuries. They're so banged up. I know Daniel Jones was able to play, but he had no offensive weapons around him. I mean, receivers are out. Saquon's obviously out. There's no help. And they're going to be taking on a Panthers team that they started the season strong, but now they too have to answer a lot of questions about if they're legitimate or not. You know, they've lost a couple games in a row. They almost pulled off that comeback against the Vikings. Got to give credit to them. They fought hard. I think they were down by like 11 with a couple minutes left, and they forced that game into overtime. But yeah, this is going to be one of those tricky games to predict here. Giants are going to be at home again after getting throttled by the Rams, but I just got to go with the Panthers. I know McCaffrey's still going to miss a couple of weeks, but again, as long as the Giants are banged up as they still are, I just don't think they'll be able to put up points on the board. And I think Carolina will have a decent game from Sam Darnold, and that defense will get back on track. And I do like them enough where I will lay the 3 and take the Panthers here.
Yeah, I agree. The Panthers are my pick here. The Giants just not having a good year. You know, they're very banged up, and that's a big problem for New York right now. We're seeing it. Joe Judge doesn't have enough to work with when you don't have your best players, a lot of the receivers out and all that sort of thing. But the thing I'm looking at here is really the pass rush from Carolina. They're currently 6th in sacks. So that's going to be very big when you're playing against New York, who has struggled for years on that O-line. So how are they going to protect Daniel Jones this weekend? That will be big. And I'm looking at Sam Darnold for Carolina's offense. I do believe that, you know what, he's coming off of a game where things didn't really go right for them initially, you know, at the start, but they almost had it in the end. They went to overtime, obviously, against the Vikings. I think that he's going to outplay Daniel Jones this week. Give me the Panthers.
Okay, we agree through 2 games here on Spreadzies on the parlay. 3rd game now on the slate of games for week 7. We got the Atlanta Falcons -2.5 favorites on the road taking on the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, here are 2 teams that you can't really trust, can't really put your full stock into them. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins, though. They're coming off of a game in London, right? So that's going to be interesting just to see, you know, their travel, how they're feeling and everything like that. And then Atlanta, they had a game in London, but they're coming off of a bye. So how are they both going to come up in this one is going to be interesting to see. I'm looking at Tua. You know what? He had a pretty impressive performance, 329 on the day against the Jags. They just couldn't pull it out. But today, I think right now that the Falcons secondary is going to struggle. I think they're going to struggle against guys like Will Fuller, guys against, you know, Waddle as well. So I'm going to give the Dolphins the points here. I think that they're going to get it done at home.
Hold your breath for this one, because this is going to be a stinker of a game, I think. I mean, these are 2 teams that I simply can't figure out. I don't think the public can figure them out. I mean, the Miami Dolphins, in my opinion, Jelani, hit a new low last week when they lost to the Jags. I mean, I know the spread suggested that it was going to be a close game, but for them to lose against the Jags, a team that hadn't won in 20, 21 games, that just was a whole new low for them. I know Tua Tagovailoa did come back. He did look good, like you said. Who am I going to take here? You know what? I'm going to go with the Falcons. I like the fact that they're coming off that week rest, and they did look a little bit better going into the bye. Their offense, they can put up points. It's just always a matter of that defense. Can they get stops? And now that Tua is back into the mix, we'll see how they look against him. But I just don't trust Miami right now. It's like every time I put my faith and trust into them, they let me down. And I think this is going to be an off year for Flores and company. And speaking of Flores, I think he's going to be on the hot seat very, very soon if he can't turn this thing around. Because you look at Miami, yes, they did have injuries, particularly to their franchise QB and Tua, but this was a team that was expected to compete in the AFC East. I mean, I know it would be far-fetched to say, okay, they can compete against the Bills, win the division, but a lot of people thought they would be at least competing for a wild card spot. And as it stands now, they're going to be competing for one of the top picks in the NFL draft. So it's been a disaster year for Miami. I think it's going to continue like that. And if I did have to put money on a team from here on out to make some sort of run out of these 2 teams, I do have more faith in the Falcons. So that says something. I'll take the Falcons here on the road -2.5.
We'll see what happens with that one. It's going to be very interesting. 2 teams that you can't really trust. But here we have the Green Bay Packers They are 9.5 favorites against Washington this weekend. So do you think Aaron Rodgers gets this one done?
I do. I think Green Bay is just clicking on all cylinders. Washington's defense, we've said it many times on this show, they have not played as many people advertise them to play this season. They have struggled. This is a defense that, got torched in the second half against Patrick Mahomes. I mean, give them credit. They did hang around with the Chiefs, and you did think to yourself, oh, could these guys actually pull off the upset? But then Patrick Mahomes and that offensive core just, whooped them in that second half, and they won that game comfortably. So now all of a sudden, if you're Washington, you go to Green Bay in a tough place to play at Lambeau Field, the Packers on a winning streak. They haven't lost since week 1. And I think it's going to be too much for them. I know 9.5 seems like a little bit of too many points in this spot, but Green Bay's at home. I'm comfortable enough that Aaron Rodgers will win this game by at least 10 plus points. This could be maybe a look ahead spot for the Packers, Jelani, because they do play Arizona next week, but I don't think they're going to get, off their game. I think they're going to stay focused knowing that game is next week and try to go into that game with this W. So I think they will win and cover the 10. I like Green Bay here.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I have to agree with you. I'm looking at Green Bay right now, and they're playing really, really well. They're playing at a high level. I think that Washington, honestly, is a team where you're looking at their schedule and you're saying to yourself, okay, they're going to play some tough teams moving forward. Starting with Green Bay, you had Kansas City just now. So I don't know if they can, I don't know if they could hang with Green Bay's offense, right? Because they're firing on all cylinders right now. And also Green Bay, they have 5 wins against the spread this season among 6 games. So I think that a lot of people's trust will be put towards Green Bay. Give me Aaron Rodgers and the Packers here.
Yeah, that's a good point brought up. The Packers have been a safe bet against the spread. That's going to be a popular pick this week. Okay, next game now. We got a divisional game. This is going to be a good one. We got the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens surprised a lot of people, including myself being a Ravens fan. I mean, I did not think they were going to beat the Chargers the way that they did. So that is why the line for this one is Ravens -6.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens here. They are the favorite. Cincinnati comes in with a pretty good record. They're not the Bengals of the past few years. They're playing pretty well right now, offensively and even defensively. They've surprised some people, but that guy, Lamar Jackson, I mean, right now, you could say he's the most electrifying player in football. He has a strong case for MVP, just given the fact that, Baltimore, they have a lot of guys on IR, a lot of guys that are banged up this year. And still, with the record that they have right now, the Ravens are atop the AFC. Everything is going right for them right now. Also, going into this pick, I'm saying to myself that the Bengals 3-3 right now against the spread. So they're 50-50. I don't really know where they, might end up this Sunday. It's a divisional game, so it will be close, but I do see the Ravens winning by at least a touchdown. And also one key note, though, is how will the Ravens run the ball, right? That's their strength. That's what they do all the time. But the Bengals, like I said, their defense not that bad, not too shabby. They're 10th in terms of, allowing the fewest rushing yards in the NFL right now. But I'm just going to put a lot of trust in Action Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking like an MVP. A lot of people's pick right now for MVP if the season were to end today. Yeah, this is an interesting one. You look at the Ravens, Jelani. This is a team that seems like they show up big against good teams, right? And then when they play teams that they're expected to destroy, those games are close. I mean, look at the game against the Colts and then the Lions. So they are going to be taking on a good team here in the Cincinnati Bengals, who have been a pleasant surprise in this young NFL season. 6.5 at home. Are they going to blow, yet another opponent? I think the Bengals are going to keep it close. I really like Joe Burrow and company. I think, this is a team that is going to be a playoff team. Now, if it's not the division winner, it will be via the wild card. I really like what I've seen from the Bengals, on both sides of the ball. Jamar Chase has been a breath of fresh air for that receiving core for the Bengals. I mean, I love that connection between Burrow and he. They hooked up for a couple of nice long plays in that game against the Lions. I know it's against the Lions. That's not saying much, but we know Chase has been as advertised this season. He's phenomenal. And I do like this offense to keep up with Lamar and company and keep it interesting. It's a divisional game. So expect a lot of, expect a close game. Expect a lot of fireworks. And I do think this will be a field goal type of game. So wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens squeak out another one because they're the masters of that. But too many points for me in this spot. I like the Bengals to keep it close, so give me the +6.5 here.
All right, and another divisional game, the Patriots and the Jets meeting up. The Patriots are 7-point favorites here.
They need a win at home. I mean, this team is 0-4 at home. I don't know when the last time that ever happened for the New England Patriots. So expect them to be hungry. They've lost a lot. Last couple of losses have been in heartbreaking fashion. Their record should be a lot better than it is now. They're clearly better than the Jets. And I expect Bill Belichick to once again do a number on Zach Wilson. Obviously, he's a rookie QB. We know how much success Belichick has over rookie QB. So I know 7 seems like it's a daunting number, but listen, Mac Jones has looked good. He's not creating any turnovers. He's playing efficiently. He's making all the throws he needs to. And I think the Patriots just played a superior Cowboys team from a week ago. But look, they hung around with the Cowboys. They could have won that game. So the Patriots are better than the Jets, and I will take the 7 points here at home. I'll lay it. And New England finally gets a home win.
Yeah, they need one bad. This is really weird seeing them lose games at home. I have to agree with you again. We're agreeing a lot today so far. But yeah, the Jets, to me, they just don't have enough here. I do think that Mac Jones outplays Zach Wilson. These are 2 rookies coming in, a lot of hype. But if you're going to talk to me about who are the best rookie quarterbacks, who is the best rookie quarterback right now, I would put Mac Jones in that position. He's playing pretty well right now. And like you said, on Sunday, they had that game against Dallas. Mac Jones, he was resilient. He did throw an interception, pick 6, and then he comes right back at Diggs. Those are plays that you really like from a rookie, just having that heart. But yeah, this week, Bill Belichick, he has a game plan set up for Zach Wilson. He has success against rookie quarterbacks, like you mentioned. Patriots here.
Okay, next game, we got a good one. The Kansas City Chiefs coming off of a win, taking on the Titans, who are also coming off of a win. That was a tremendous Monday Night Football game that came down to the wire. The Chiefs, 4.5-point favorites here. Who do you like?
This is a very interesting game. This might be a playoff preview. You never know. I'm going to say Kansas City gets it done on the road. You know what? The Titans have played Kansas City pretty tough and have hung in there in their recent matchups, I'd say. But you know what? A guy like Derrick Henry is someone to watch. He is on pace for 2,000 rushing yards once again, on pace to be, the leading rusher in the NFL. It's not really surprising to see. He's just a monster. So that's going to be something to really watch in terms of Kansas City's defense. Can they shut him down? Can they find a way to just contain him? And as for Tennessee, to win this game, though, they're going to have to throw the ball. I don't think you just give it to Derrick Henry and expect a win here. I think Ryan Tannehill will have to have a very good game because we know, good or bad, the Chiefs, no matter the performance, they will put points on the board, and especially in the air attack. So can the Titans in that passing game, can they hang around with KC? We'll see what happens. I do think, though, Mahomes is going to be tough to stop. The Titans don't have a bad defense, but they don't have the best defense. And also their defense, their secondary, really, really banged up right now. And we saw plenty of injuries on Monday night against the Bills. So I think Mahomes takes advantage.
I like the Titans here. I think this, is a team that's coming off of a statement win, all momentum in their corner. They're going to be at home again. And the Chiefs, they haven't impressed me. I mean, this is a team that, they have a couple of wins to their name, but they haven't beaten anybody notably. I mean, this is a team that has not looked good against some of the better teams in the NFL. Now, I'm not ready to sit here and say the Titans are a part of that conversation, but they have played a lot better, and you just named it. I mean, Derrick Henry, this guy's a monster. Just give him the ball. He's putting the team on his back, and as long as he's healthy, it's hard to bet against the Titans. And I do think Henry's going to have another monster day here. He keeps getting better, it seems, week to week, looking like another MVP candidate. And I think Ryan Tannehill will have a good day just because of how bad that Chiefs defense is. And I think Tannehill will be able to get his receivers involved, and Tennessee will be able to keep up with whatever the Chiefs have on the other end. And I do expect the Titans defense to force Patrick Mahomes to some turnovers. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I think it's 59 T's in his last 15 games. So this is a guy who went from not creating any turnovers to now all of a sudden he's turning into a 9T machine. A lot of questionable throws. He had one in that game against the Washington football team. I don't know what that was. He just threw it up there like he was not even an NFL quarterback. Very questionable. So he cannot afford to make those types of decisions against this good Titans team, especially them being at home. I think the Titans keep it rolling here. They're going to cover the 4.5, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game. And like you said earlier, Jelani, this is a Titans team that always plays the Chiefs tough, and I think that narrative continues here.
All right, and now we have the Los Angeles Rams. They're playing the Detroit Lions, a really, really big one here, 15.5 for the Rams. Do you agree with that? It's pretty big.
Yeah, we're getting into a lot of big spreads now, and I do agree with it because, I mean, how can you justify anything less given how these two teams played last week? The Lions looking horrible and the Rams looking great. 15.5 is a lot, and something to note here, this is going to be the homecoming for Jared Goff returning to LA, right? It wasn't that long ago where Goff helped lead the Rams to the Super Bowl. I know they lost that game, but Goff played in the Super Bowl. A lot of people forget that. So this is going to be a tough spot for the Lions. I do like Dan Campbell calling out Goff, though, in the postgame, saying that he needs to be better. So I expect the Lions to put up a valiant effort here, Jelani. I'm not saying they're going to win this game, but honestly, 15.5 just seems like it's way too many points. The Lions have been scrappy. I know last week was a complete disaster for them, but I do think they will come out with a much better effort and performance. So they'll cover the 15.5. I'll take the Lions plus the points here.
I'm going to go the other way. I just believe a lot more in LA right now. They're looking like one of the best teams in football. And as for Detroit, I mean, they're not really a team that you would say is winless. They have been in close games, like you mentioned. They've been there. They just haven't been able to finish. But teams like the Rams that come in, I don't know if the Detroit Lions have the personnel, have enough to get anything done. I think it's going to be a really, really bad Sunday for Jared Goff and company. And yeah, you know what? Goff is going to want to play really, really well because the Rams, you know, they believed that Stafford was the guy that could really get them over the hump. And Goff, he brought the Rams to the Super Bowl. So it's going to be interesting in terms of storyline. But as for the game on the field, Sean McVay will outcoach Dan Campbell. The Rams offense will outplay the offense of the Lions, and the defense, I mean, I don't think there's really any contest. The Rams have the better defense, better special teams as well. So give me the Rams.
Okay, you're laying the points with the Rams. Next game here, we got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are 3-point favorites. Before you give me your pick, how pissed off were you, Jelani, that the Eagles backdoor covered in that game against Tampa Bay? Because I was happy because I did have Eagles +7.
Man, I was so upset. I had that one in the bag. I mean, Tampa Bay came out so easy. Like it was like a practice session, but then Jalen Hurts and company, they started, you know, generating some points. So I was like, uh-oh, are they going to cover? And they did. So that was pretty surprising. Honestly, out of all the spreads last week, I'd say that was the most surprising. Just the way the game started, I thought the Eagles were going to get shattered. But hey, you know what? Jalen Hurts, he had a good finish to the game.
Yeah, I mean, going for 2 in that situation, very, very questionable. Who do you like this week? Do you like the Eagles or you're taking the Raiders at home?
I take the Raiders here. It's going to be interesting to see how the Eagles deal with the tight end spot. You just traded Zach Ertz. It's going to be weird not to see him in green anymore. And then Dallas Goedert, I believe he's, you know, on the COVID-19 list. So how are they going to deal with that? Jalen Hurts really likes throwing to the tight ends, but they're probably not going to be available for him on Sunday. And you're playing a Raiders team coming off of a very good win against Denver. This is one of the better games that we've seen all around from the Raiders in years. And honestly, they're a team where I see them putting up, a plus, 25 points in this game. And quick note here, when they record more than 25.3 points, they're 3-1 against the spread, 4-0 overall. So I expect more of that on Sunday. I think that Derek Carr is going to have another good game. And honestly, the Raiders getting rid of, the John Gruden saga and all that stuff, getting a very good win, helps with their psyche, helps with everything going on in the locker room. And they're going to bring that to the field, and they will have a good performance against the Eagles.
Yeah, you know what, Jelani, this is an interesting game. I'm going to take the Eagles here, +3. The Eagles have, they've shown a lot of heart in some of these losses that they've had. And there's been a narrative this season, it seems, with the Raiders. I mean, just when they look good and you're ready to put some stock into this team, they fall apart in the off week. Like, this is a very inconsistent team, and the Eagles are the opposite of that. It's like when you're ready to write off the Eagles, here they come with a win out of nowhere. I mean, I'm talking about that game against the Panthers where nobody had them winning that game. They're down big, and then they, come back in epic fashion. So I think this is going to be a low-scoring field goal type of game. The Raiders have the hook here. Usually you stay away from those. So I like the Eagles to keep it interesting. Wouldn't be surprised if they win this game. This could be one of my upset picks of the week. Don't put any stock into that. But I do like the Eagles to, again, keep it close. And I'd like them here to cover +3.
Yeah, that's a good upset pick. So we'll see if it is an upset. But this one, I don't think that will be the case. We have the Cardinals -17 against the Texans. Sorry, Houston. You have a problem.
Yeah, this is going to be a long day for the Texans. I mean, this is the second time this season, right, that they have been underdogs by this many points. I think the Bills spread was similar to this. So I usually don't take big spreads, Jelani. You know me well on that, but I'm going to be laying the big spread here because this is going to remind me of that game against the Bills, where the Bills were massive favorites at home and they did cover that spread comfortably. I think the Cardinals are for real. They're going to show up here knowing that they got Green Bay next week. They want to look good before that game to remain perfect on the season. And I just think they got too many weapons. Davis Mills not going to be able to do anything against that Cardinals defense. This is going to be a long day at the office for him. Arizona, I wouldn't be surprised if they shut out the Texans in this spot. I think that's how lopsided this is going to be, but the Cardinals are going to win this game big. And listen, the Cardinals shut up a lot of people, including myself, last week. They should never have been underdogs in that spot, and they proved to the public, you never want to deem an undefeated team as an underdog because that's what's going to happen. And they came out with an incredible performance on the road in Cleveland, so you got to tip your hat to them, and I think it's going to keep on going here. Kyler Murray and company can call their number in this game, and they'll get it. So give me the Cardinals big here at home, -17.
Yeah, I had the Cardinals against the Browns. I took the Cards there. They're just a really, really good team. They're well-rounded. They didn't even have their coach, and they came out looking like that on Sunday against the Browns. Kyler Murray, MVP type guy right now. He's probably the favorite right now if you're really looking at it from a grand scheme of things. Undefeated, teams rolling, all the weapons he has, including DeAndre Hopkins, former Texan. That will be interesting.
Yeah.
I know DeAndre is going to have a big, big day. He wants to prove it that to the Houston fans and to the Houston organization specifically that it was a mistake to let him go. It was. I don't know why that happened. But yeah, he's going to have a big day. You have guys like AJ Green, a new resurgence we're really seeing here. So the offense is going to be perfectly fine in Arizona. And then we see the defense. The defense is playing pretty well. You have big names. Brian Murphy Jr. playing really well this year. Buda Baker. And obviously another former Texan, J.J. Watt. He's going to want to have a good performance against his old team. I don't see any reason here to take the Texans to cover. I think this is going to be a blowout.
Yeah, those are some good points brought up, with Watt and Hopkins playing their former team. So that's extra motivation for the Cardinals, but they don't need any extra motivation for this one. Next game here, we got another big spread. The Chicago Bears taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Bucs -13.5 point favorites. Are you laying the big number again, Jelani?
You know what? I do this a lot. I'm going to lay it there. I think that the Bears, their defense isn't bad. Okay. They're going to try to get to Brady. That's how you beat Tom Brady. And we remember last year it was in Chicago, but they won. The Bears did win the game by 1 point. However, this time around it's in Tampa Bay. And when Tampa is playing at home, they're relatively unbeatable. I don't really see a reason why we shouldn't have them favored here. Yes, the points pretty large, but again, I don't know who's stopping this team right now. Tom Brady, he's 44, but he's looking 24. He's looking really, really good. This offense is gelling now. They're going to have a day on defense, though, where they get to Justin Fields. And the thing about that, the reason why I'm not going to give the Bears the cover here is because Justin Fields, there are some, possessions where they need points, they can't get them. There's sometimes when they need to get in the red zone, can't get there. So the offense is really in transition right now, trying to get the young feet wet of Justin Fields right now. He's trying to get his feet wet in the league, and we really see that right now with Matt Nagy's offense. They're in transition right now, moving from Dalton to Fields. So things have gone a bit slower than wanted in Chicago. But yeah, give me the Bucs here. Their offense is going to put a lot of points on the board against a pretty good Bears defense.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take the points here. This is no knock to Tampa Bay. I think obviously they're one of the best teams in the league, but 13.5 just seems like it's too many points. I do think Chicago will make it a little bit interesting. I mean, they did in the first half of that game against Green Bay, playing hard, that defense showing up, but then in the second half, we know what happened there. I think it's going to be similar here. I could see the Bucs winning by about 10 points, but to lay the full 2 touchdowns, I just think Chicago will make some plays defensively. I'm pretty sure the Bears did beat Tampa Bay from last season. So this is a team that obviously is familiar with Brady. And I think Fields will be able to make some plays with his feet on the ground. And I just like, the Bears to cover this number. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but 13.5 is way too many points. And you should already know at this point, I always usually ride with the underdog when the spread is this high. So I'm going to be keeping up with that here. Give me the Bears on the road plus 13.5.
All right, and now the Sunday nighter, we have the Colts at San Francisco to meet up with the Niners. 3 points is the spread here for the Niners. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, this is an interesting game. I mean, both these teams coming into this one with a lot to play for. The Colts started off slow, but all of a sudden now they still have a chance to make a wild card run. This is a good Colts team, and their record is not an indication of who they are. This is a team that should be above 500. They lost a couple of heartbreakers, and they have played hard. And the San Francisco 49ers, this is a team that had a lot of expectations going into the season. And now can they get back on track coming out of their bye week and show people that, yeah, they are a playoff team? Obviously, Trey Lance got hurt. Jimmy G has been practicing. He should be able to go in this game. If I had to put stock in one team over the other here, I will go with the Niners at home. I think the 49ers, if they can remain healthy, they are so talented on both sides of the ball. And this is a team that, did hang around with Green Bay, who are looking like one of the best teams in the league right now. And I do think San Francisco will be one of those teams to look out for in the second half. Of course, it's going to come down to the play of Jimmy G. Can he play well enough where he can keep the Niners in some of these games and win these important games? So this is going to be more important for the Niners than the Colts, because the Niners should win this game at home against the Colts. And if they don't, then yeah, they're not who many people thought they were. So I like the 49ers -3 against the Colts, who have been playing really well lately.
All right. Well, if you give me who's going to win the game, I'd say San Francisco. But if you give me the spread, I'm going to go with the Colts here. I like what Carson Wentz has been doing this year. I know that they're not an undefeated team or, atop the AFC or anything like that, but he's having a pretty nice season if you look at it in its entirety. And they're coming off of a game against the Texans where they manhandled the Texans. And we saw an impressive game from Jonathan Taylor. He's going to have to show up and do the same or something similar to that against the Niners, who have a defense that at times they look really, really good. And then there are some possessions where they do have lapses, and that won't help because, again, Carson Wentz not having a bad year. And as for San Francisco on offense, they have a good offense when everything's going right, but there are times in the red zone where they really struggle to even get there, to be honest, because right now they're 28th in red zone attempts right now in the NFL, and that's not good enough, right? You're going to have to get in the red zone on Sunday night against the Colts. And the Colts, I mean, they have a guy in DeForest Buckner playing his old team. He's going to want to show up and get to Jimmy G. It's going to be interesting. You mentioned it, though. Jimmy G, it's on him this week. If they want to win the game, that will be based on how he plays. He has to have a nice game just to keep up with what's going on with the Colts offensively. They're not too shabby. So, but yeah, I see this being a tight game. This might be a game where we see maybe a 1-point win or a 2-point win. So that's why I'm going to say, give me the Colts here.
Yeah, last time the Niners hosted a Sunday football game, it was an epic one against the Green Bay Packers. Okay, final game of Week 7, Monday Night Football. The New Orleans Saints, 5-point favorites on the road, taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Who do you like in the spot?
I'm going to take the underdog here. I'm going to take Seattle right now. I think that, you know what? You're looking at Sunday night. They played Pittsburgh, and they played them really, really well. They played them tough. They had that game at hand, but it just, went away from them in the overtime. But Geno Smith was honestly pretty impressive during regulation. And let's see if he could do that again this week against the Saints. The Saints, I say this every week, I just don't know what Saints team I'm getting. Am I getting the good Jameis and the good Saints, or am I getting the bad Saints? I just don't know right now. So I'm going to put my stock into the Seattle Seahawks to come out here. And honestly, all their games are crazy games. All their games end up being really, really close for some reason. Even without Russell Wilson, they managed to make it a tight one again in Pittsburgh. So I'm going to say that Seattle is going to cover here. But if you give me like a pick 'em, I would say New Orleans.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I like the Seahawks at home +5. Feel for Geno Smith because, as you mentioned, he has played well in these games, but then in the final possession where he has a chance to engineer a game-tying or game-winning drive, we saw what happened. Throws a pick against the Rams and then obviously gets stripped by Watt in that last game against the Steelers. So very unfortunate for him, but all in all, this is a guy that is, he's able to move the football. And I do give him a lot of credit, and that entire Seahawks team some credit, because they were able to come back in that game against the Steelers when it looked like it was going to be a long night when the Steelers got out to that early lead. So I do expect a similar theme here. I think the Seahawks will make it interesting late. And like you said, you don't know which version of Jameis Winston you're going to get. I do not trust him at all, and I do not think this Saints team is a playoff team. That being said, Seattle, they are without Russell Wilson for a couple more weeks. If they can just survive and, string together a couple of wins here before Wilson comes back, they could still have a shot, an outside shot of getting into the playoffs. So these games matter for Seattle, and they're going to be at home, prime time, Monday Night Football. That 12th man is going to give them that extra boost here. That crowd's going to be rocking. So I do like the Seahawks to cover this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a very, very fun week. And we have something on the screen, though, before we go. So, obviously, I'm a big Cowboys fan. It's a big win in Boston, in Foxborough on the weekend. And we do have a bye this week, but Dak Prescott and this offense looking really, really good. I'm not saying Super Bowl. A lot of Cowboys fans are like, oh, Super Bowl. I am not a delusional Cowboys fan. I think that, you know what, with time going on, I think that the team will get better, right? But I'm not going to say Super Bowl yet. We need to limit the turnovers offensively. But bigger issue is the penalties, right? The penalties have been really, really bad this year. It's Achilles heel right now for the Dallas Cowboys. And honestly, I was very frustrated because in that game against the Patriots, yes, they did take away a touchdown from us, goal line. Dak Prescott, he was in. But the penalties really had the Patriots staying in that game throughout. So if you limit the penalties and limit all the, the mistakes, then this team will be good. But the other thing is Mike McCarthy. I don't know if I could really trust him with clock management. There are really, really bad times when he's choosing to do one thing, but he has to go the other way. I think that on 4th and 1s, on 3rd and shorts, we see that the play calling is a bit iffy, a bit sketchy. But yeah, no, down the stretch, penalties and Mike McCarthy is going to be what we're really looking at in Dallas.
Yeah, the Cowboys have sold me as obviously a legitimate playoff team. Have they sold me as a Super Bowl contender? Not yet. But listen, they've been fun to watch. It's going to be interesting. But I will say this, to end off here. I hope I win this head-to-head spread bet that we got going on, because I do not want to wear a Cowboys jersey for the Super Bowl show. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. And I hope, I can edge you out here on the week-to-week of the Against the Spread. So we'll see what happens, everybody. But we want to thank all of our viewers, whether you watch this live or on the replay, for tuning into Spreadzies every single week. Jelani and I, again, will be going head-to-head against the spread. And the loser at the end of the year will have to wear the other person's favorite team's jersey. So you definitely don't want to miss that. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll catch you all again next week. Enjoy week 7 of the NFL. Take care.
Welcome to Parlay TV.
Plenty of things look easy at first. Skydiving, lion taming. From the comfort of your armchair, all sorts of risks look easy as
Cristiano Ronaldo, Diogo Jota, and Bruno Fernandes literally
blew Russia off the park in a clinical display of attacking football.
Wow.
Sorry, what did you say, Kobe?
Wow, bro.
Let's break it down.
I am Pat Mayo, and I'm here to give you the best pick at the top of the board, the best bet, if you will.
So I'm going to go with just under 25 for Middleton here.